What if every single thought you've ever had wasn't locked inside your mind, but actually radiated outward like an energetic signal traveling through the universe itself? What if the universe wasn't something distant that you needed to persuade or beg, but rather an intelligent field constantly reading, responding to, and reflecting the unique frequency you carry? Most of us were raised to think that talking to the universe is just a metaphor. Some see it as wishful thinking, others as spiritual fantasy. They assume it means repeating affirmations, making hopeful requests, or trying to convince reality to follow a plan scripted in your imagination. But beneath that surface belief lies something far deeper and far more grounded in science than most people realize. In quantum physics, there's a concept known as knot. It reveals that when two particles have interacted, they remain connected no matter how far apart they drift. A shift in one is instantly mirrored by the other, without any visible signal traveling between them. This isn't theory, it's been tested and measured in laboratories countless times. Now imagine that your consciousness functions in a similar way, that your awareness, your focused thought, and your emotional energy ripple outward as measurable frequencies that interact with the field of reality. When your thoughts are infused with genuine emotion and you're grounded in presence, not stress or striving, your signal becomes coherent. It begins to influence possibilities around you in ways that go far beyond logic. This isn't about superstition or magical thinking. It's about resonance, the physics of frequency, and the way your heart and brain literally broadcast energy that shapes your perception and ultimately your experience. In this video, we're going to explore how that process works and why so many people struggle to talk to the universe. It's not because the universe isn't listening, it's because the signal they're sending is scrambled by inner conflict, doubt, or unconscious resistance. You're about to discover how to broadcast a clear, stable frequency from your nervous system, how to turn your intention into a signal so steady that life itself begins to echo it back. But first, let's look at a simple idea. If your thoughts are energy, your emotions are energy, and your body is a field of vibrating frequencies, then everything you experience is part of an ongoing conversation between your personal signal and the greater field of existence. The universe doesn't just respond to your words, it mirrors your entire state of being, the rhythm of your emotions, the consistency of your focus, and the meaning you hold from one moment to the next. That's why repeating affirmations or visualizing goals often fails. Beneath the surface of those words lies a deeper transmission: fear, doubt, or a sense of urgency. And that's the signal the field actually responds to. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It simply means you can learn to refine your broadcast to become conscious of what you're truly transmitting. When your heart, mind, and body fall into harmony, your energy becomes coherent, and coherence is what the field recognizes. Think of it like a tuning fork. Strike it, and it vibrates at a specific frequency. Anything capable of resonance nearby begins to vibrate with it. That's what happens when your inner state stabilizes. People, opportunities, and experiences begin to harmonize with your signal. In the next part, we'll dive into the science behind this phenomenon, how your heart and brain generate electromagnetic fields that interact with the environment in measurable ways, and why clarity matters more than intensity. Stay with me, because once you understand the true mechanics of communicating with the universe, you'll never again feel the need to force what you desire. When you begin exploring the science behind how your thoughts and emotions interact with the physical world, you discover something astonishing, something that challenges almost everything we were taught about how reality works. You start to see that consciousness isn't confined to the brain. It's an energetic force that radiates into the environment, influencing the probabilities of what can unfold around you. One of the most fascinating areas of study revealing this connection comes from the research on the heart's electromagnetic field. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute and other research centers have shown that your heart generates the strongest rhythmic electromagnetic field in the entire body, one that can be detected several feet away using sensitive instruments. But this field doesn't just reflect your heartbeat, it carries information about your emotional state and level of coherence. When you're stressed, afraid, or frustrated, the communication between your heart and brain becomes chaotic. The smooth wave of your heartbeat turns jagged and irregular. This state, known as incoherence, creates biological noise. Your nervous system shifts into survival mode. Creativity narrows, intuition fades, and your energetic signal becomes fragmented, unclear, inconsistent, difficult for the field to mirror back with clarity. But when you feel calm, grateful, or genuinely compassionate, everything changes. Your heart rhythm becomes smooth, rhythmic, and stable, forming what scientists call a coherent pattern. That coherence generates a measurable electromagnetic signature that's organized, strong, and steady, the energetic equivalent of a clear signal in a world full of static. Why does this matter? Because your electromagnetic field doesn't stop at the edge of your skin. It extends into the space around you, interacting with a greater field in which all matter exists. Think of it like dropping a pebble into still water. Ripples move outward, influencing everything they touch. Your coherent heart field sends out similar ripples, shaping both your inner biology and your outer experience. Your brain also contributes to this broadcast. When you focus attention with emotion and intention, your brainwaves begin to synchronize a process known as phase. This coordination strengthens communication between your heart and brain, amplifying the clarity of your signal. This is where quantum principles become deeply relevant. At the most fundamental level, everything is energy vibrating at specific frequencies. Particles aren't solid, they exist as waves of potential that only take form when observed. This phenomenon, known as the observer effect, is one of quantum physics' most profound discoveries. It shows that observation doesn't just mean seeing with your eyes, it means interacting with reality in a way that changes it. Your focused attention, especially when paired with genuine emotion, functions as a kind of observation. It shapes the probabilities within the field, collapsing potential outcomes into actual experiences. This is why your state of being is more important than any particular words, rituals, or techniques. If your emotions are tangled in fear or urgency, your thoughts scattered, and your body tense, the energy you emit becomes chaotic. The universe still responds, but what it reflects is that same chaos. On the other hand, when you cultivate inner coherence, when your heart, mind, and body align, your signal becomes steady and powerful. The field can mirror it clearly. This doesn't mean everything manifests exactly as you imagine. It means you begin attracting experiences, insights, and synchronicities that match your state of harmony. Let's make this simple. Imagine you're tuning an old radio. If the dial is slightly off, all you hear is static. The signal exists, but you can't receive it cleanly. When you fine-tune the dial to the exact frequency, the broadcast becomes clear. Your electromagnetic field works the same way. The more coherent and balanced your inner state, the more precisely you tune in to experiences that align with your intention. The field itself is neutral. It doesn't reward or punish, it simply responds to the consistency and quality of your signal. That's why moments of deep peace, surrender, or presence often bring the most powerful results. It's not that the universe finally decided to help you, it's that your own energy finally became clear enough for resonance to occur. That's the real secret of talking to the universe. It's not about begging or convincing. It's about learning to transmit a steady, coherent frequency, one that reality naturally reflects. In the next part, we'll explore how intention becomes frequency, how your thoughts, emotions, and the meaning you assign to them combine into a vibrational signature that the universe can actually recognize. Every intention you hold carries a vibration, but that vibration isn't created by your words, it's born from the emotion that fuels them and the belief that supports them. You can think of intention as a kind of frequency code, a message written not in language, but in energy. When your intention is infused with clarity, gratitude, and a sense of calm certainty, it vibrates at a high, stable frequency. When it's tangled with doubt, fear, or desperation, the signal weakens. This is why two people can say the exact same affirmation, yet one experiences results, while the other feels nothing change. It's not the phrase that carries the power, it's the state of consciousness behind it. Your thoughts are like the blueprint, your emotions are the electricity, and your belief system is the foundation that determines whether the current flows cleanly or shorts out before it reaches the field. Emotion acts as the amplifier. Whatever you think about, you energize with your feelings. That's what turns a thought into a broadcast. If you think about something with frustration or lack, that's the charge your intention sends. The field reflects that tone not as punishment, but simply because it mirrors what you've transmitted. But when you pair thought with genuine appreciation or trust, your energy expands. It becomes coherent. Your body relaxes. Your breathing deepens. Your nervous system opens and your signal becomes clear and magnetic, almost as if the field can hear you for the first time. That's because your frequency of feeling determines how the quantum field interprets your message. Imagine your mind as a transmitter and your heart as the power source. The mind shapes the message, but the heart gives it strength. Without the emotional charge of the heart, the signal remains weak. like trying to broadcast across the universe on a dying battery. That's why so many manifestation techniques fall short. They focus on visualizing the outcome, but not on feeling it as if it were already true. They emphasize words and pictures, but ignore the emotional current that gives those pictures life. You can't fake energy. You can repeat a sentence 1,000 times, but if beneath it you're radiating tension or disbelief, that's what the field will respond to. This is why it's so powerful to practice states like gratitude, joy, compassion, and love, not as techniques, but as ways of tuning your frequency. These emotions aren't just positive in a psychological sense. They create measurable physiological coherence, balancing your heart rhythm, lowering stress hormones, and aligning your brainwaves. In that state, your intention becomes a living frequency, one that the universe naturally synchronizes with. But there's another key ingredient: belief. Belief acts like the stabilizer that keeps your frequency consistent. If you send out a signal of confidence one moment and doubt the next, your field keeps shifting, and the external reality has nothing stable to mirror. That's why consistency is more important than intensity. It's not how loudly you broadcast your desire, it's how steadily you hold the vibration of already having it. When you stop trying to make it happen, and instead become the frequency of what you want, the field no longer needs convincing, it simply matches you. That's what ancient teachings meant when they said, as within, so without. Your internal state writes the energetic blueprint that the external world reads. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to the energy of what you believe you already are. So, if you want to transform your reality, the first shift isn't in your words or your goals. It's in the vibration you hold in this very moment, because every thought wrapped in emotion becomes a pulse of energy, and that pulse travels into the field, weaving the threads of the reality that's about to unfold. In the next part, we'll explore why so many people struggle to maintain this alignment and how subconscious fear, trauma, or doubt can distort the signal you're sending. More importantly, we'll see how to realign it so your energy finally speaks the language the universe understands. If the universe is always responding to your frequency, then why do so many people feel unheard? Why do affirmations, meditations, and visualizations sometimes fall flat, no matter how hard you try? The answer isn't that the universe ignores you, it's that your signal is being scrambled before it ever reaches the field. Every human carries layers of energy, thoughts, emotions, memories, beliefs that shape their broadcast. Some of these layers are conscious, but many are stored beneath awareness, quietly transmitting doubt, guilt, or fear. Even when you're trying to project faith and confidence, it's like trying to send a clear radio transmission through a storm. Static, interference, and distortion all overlap the frequency. This happens because your subconscious mind operates far more powerfully than your conscious thoughts. It's the part of you that's been recording since birth, absorbing every experience, every belief you were told about who you are and what's possible. If those stored patterns carry messages like "I'm not enough," "it's unsafe to succeed," or "I don't deserve love," then no matter what affirmations you say, the underlying broadcast stays the same. That's why awareness is the first step in clearing the signal. You can't change a frequency you refuse to acknowledge. Notice how your body feels when you think about your desires. Does your chest tighten? Does your stomach contract? Do you feel anxious or doubtful? Those sensations are signals, feedback from your nervous system telling you there's resistance between what you want and what you believe. But here's the good news. The field doesn't require perfection, it responds to authenticity. You don't need to fake positivity or suppress fear. In fact, trying to ignore or outthink fear only feeds it with more energy. Instead, meet it with presence. When you bring awareness to the emotion, without judgment, it begins to dissolve. Energy that's acknowledged begins to flow again. You start releasing the static that was blocking your broadcast. Meditation, breathwork, journaling, or even moments of stillness all help realign your nervous system with coherence. They quiet the mental noise and reconnect you to the simplicity of presence, where your true signal naturally stabilizes. You see, the heart's electromagnetic field becomes most coherent not when you force coherent, not when you force calm, but when you feel safe being yourself, when your energy isn't fighting its own reflection. And this is the paradox most people miss. You don't align with your desires by striving harder to feel good. You align by allowing what you feel, then consciously choosing which frequency you want to expand. Every emotion is just energy in motion. Fear is energy. Anger is energy. Sadness is energy. If you try to suppress it, that energy stagnates and distorts your broadcast. But if you let it move, breathe it, feel it, Express it consciously, it transforms into clarity. The more you practice presence, the more transparent your field becomes. Instead of layers of resistance and static, your signal becomes clean. Your emotions and thoughts stop contradicting one another. And in that clear space, your intention gains power, not because you're forcing the universe to respond, but because you've finally stopped interfering with the natural communication that was always happening. So remember this, you don't need to become better to manifest. You only need to become clearer. You don't need to add more, you simply need to remove the interference between you and the frequency of what you seek. When your inner world stops fighting itself, the outer world has no choice but to reflect that harmony back to you. In the next part, we'll explore how to consciously realign your vibration, practical steps to harmonize thought, emotion, and body so that your entire being becomes a single, powerful signal that the universe can unmistakably recognize. Now that you understand how your energy gets scrambled, the next question is simple. How do you realign your signal and keep it strong? The first step is to remember that your energy field is alive and responsive. You don't have to force it, you only have to tune it. Think of it like tuning a musical instrument. The strings don't need replacing, they just need to vibrate in harmony again. Here's where that tuning begins. 1. Awareness of your current frequency every moment. Your body gives you feedback about the signal you're sending. If you feel tense, anxious, or impatient, that's not a failure. It's simply your inner guidance showing you that your frequency is out of tune with what you're asking for. Instead of judging the emotion, listen to it. Ask yourself, what story am I believing right now? Awareness alone starts to shift the energy, because what's seen clearly no longer controls you unconsciously. To align your breath and heart. Your breath is the bridge between the mind and the body and one of the fastest ways to stabilize your field. Close your eyes for a few moments. Breathe slowly into your heart, as if your chest itself were expanding with light. Hold for a second, then exhale gently. Do this for just 90 seconds and your heart rhythm begins to form a coherent wave. Your brain follows that rhythm, your nervous system relaxes, and your energy field becomes steady and synchronized. This is what scientists call heart-brain coherence, and it's measurable. When you breathe rhythmically and feel gratitude or compassion, your electromagnetic field literally reorganizes into order. That's not imagination, that's physics in motion. 3. Feel it before it appears. Once your body and breath are calm, bring your intention into awareness. But don't just think about it, feel it. Imagine what it would be like if it were already happening right now. How would your body feel? What emotions would naturally rise? Stay there. Let that feeling grow until it fills your entire body. You're not pretending. You're teaching your nervous system a new frequency. The field around you responds not to time, but to vibration. So when you feel as if it's already real, your energy becomes identical to the version of you who already lives that reality. For release control, the most powerful signals are transmitted, not from control, but from trust. When you stop grasping, forcing, or worrying about when things will happen, your field expands. Control compresses energy, trust opens it. Let your desire move through you like music, something you play because it feels beautiful, not because you're trying to rush to the final note. The universe doesn't need deadlines. It mirrors your frequency, not your calendar. 5. Anchor the frequency throughout your day. Check in with yourself. How does your body feel? What emotion are you transmitting? If you catch yourself slipping into tension or doubt, pause. Take a deep breath. Return to that feeling of coherence, gratitude, peace, or fulfillment. Each time you do this, you strengthen the neural and energetic pathways of your new vibration. You're training your system to hold that frequency naturally, even when life tests you. This is how transformation becomes sustainable. It's not about a single meditation or ritual. It's about embodying the energy of what you want until it becomes your new baseline. And once that happens, something incredible begins to unfold. Life starts reflecting that new baseline automatically. People, opportunities, and synchronicities begin appearing that match your frequency, not because you made them happen, but because you finally aligned with them. Remember, energy doesn't lie. Whatever you are internally radiating, you are continuously magnetizing externally. When your thoughts, emotions, and body become one coherent field, you no longer chase manifestations, they begin finding you. In the next part, we'll go deeper into the final integration, how to live in continuous dialogue with the universe, recognizing signs, synchronicities, and intuitive guidance as your energy's reflection in motion. Once your energy becomes coherent and steady, something extraordinary begins to happen. Life starts talking back to you, not in words, but in moments, in timing. In the quiet coincidences that seem too precise to be chance, this is when you realize that the universe was never silent, you just weren't tuned to the right frequency to hear it. When your heart, mind, and body align, your perception sharpens. You start noticing patterns. A song plays with the exact message you needed. A stranger says something that answers a question you didn't voice. An opportunity arises the moment you finally let go of forcing one. These are not random. They are reflections of your energy, feedback from the field, showing that your signal is being received. You're no longer begging the universe for signs. You're recognizing that life itself is a conversation, and that conversation never truly stops. It's happening through emotion, intuition, and synchronicity every moment of every day. The truth is, you and the universe are not separate. You are made of the same energy, the same consciousness, the same creative intelligence. You are both the transmitter and the receiver, both the signal and the field. That's why when you change your vibration, reality reorganizes around it. Because at the deepest level, you are the frequency you are trying to reach. The more you live from that knowing, the less you try to manifest things and the more you allow them to flow. Desires stop feeling like goals to chase. They become natural extensions of your state of being. This is what alignment really means. You stop chasing outcomes and start embodying the vibration that makes those outcomes inevitable. You begin living in rhythm with the field, not as a separate creator demanding results, but as a conscious participant in the universe's ongoing expression. And here's the ultimate paradox. When you stop trying to control how life responds, the response becomes effortless. When you let go of needing proof, proof appears everywhere. When you stop forcing the universe to listen, you finally hear its whisper in everything. That's when you understand the universe has always been fluent in your language. You were just speaking it unconsciously. Now every breath, every heartbeat, every thought becomes part of the dialogue. You feel connected, guided, aligned, not because you've learned to command reality, but because you've remembered that you are reality in motion. So, the next time you look at the sky and ask for a sign, remember, the sign isn't out there waiting, it's already pulsing within your frequency. When you tune your inner world to peace, the outer world begins to echo it, because the truth is simple. You are never separate from the universe. You were the signal all along,